Hey guys, so in our previous videos, we have generated the access token and retrieved the folders that were available across our orchestrator. So in this video, we will going to use that folder ID to manage our queues throughout our orchestrator. So in this video, we are gonna cover how we can create the queues, delete the queue or edit the queue. And along with that, we will see how we can add, update, delete the queue items as well. So before we start, let's clarify one most important point, which is the difference between the queue item and the queue definition. So what's the queue definition is? The queue definition is the queue container itself. For example, this invoice processing queues. And the queue item is an individual transaction that is stored inside this queue. For example, this invoice 01, 02, and 03. So in this video, we are managing the queue definition along with the queue items as well. In order to work with the queues, there are some prerequisites that we have to complete before we should go and work for the queues. So if I show you, the prerequisites are the access token. So the access token is required for any of the requests that you are going to send to your orchestrator. So first I need to get the access token and then I need to get the folder ID as well because the queue is actually the folder level resource. So that's why we need the folder ID always to perform the queues operation. So we need these two prerequisites to be completed, and then I will show you our this URL. So this is our queue definition URL to retrieve the queues and to create the queues. If I show you till here, this is our base URL, and after this we have our queue definition URL, and this URL is basically to delete the queues. So till here it is the base URL, it is same as the above one, but in the below one we are passing our queue ID as well in order to delete the queue. Along with that, the headers will be required. The authorization will pass the bearer and the access token, which is our first prerequisite. The content type will be application JSON, and we need to pass the organization unit ID, which is nothing, our folder ID, where our queue exists, or we are going to create our queue, or we want to delete the queues. So with this, let's move to the Postman and try to implement all these requests. We are in the Postman now. Here, first we will complete our prerequisites, which is to get the access token first. So this is my identity URL, and I will hit this request. Done. I got the response, and this is my access token, which is already saved in my collections variable. Okay, if I show you my collection variable over here, these are my collection variables where my access token will be stored once I will hit this request, and then I will get the folder ID wherever I want to perform that queue definition actions. So let me hit this as well. Here I got all my folders available across my orchestrator wherever my external application has been assigned. Now let's move to our queue definition. So first I need to create the queue, only then I will be able to get the queues. So this is my base URL which I shown you in my OneNote. Till here it is my base URL. After that I am having the queue definition URL, right? Then I am passing the authorization as a bearer and this token. Then in the headers, I'm passing the folder ID. So this 263564, if I check it, I need to send the request again. Uh, This shared folder ID is 263564. Why it is being closed? Okay, let me reopen it. I just copy it. Let's go to create queue. All right, this is my shared folder ID. Then I'll go to the body. Here you see I have to pass the name of the queue that I want to create. Let me make it as AP shared. I will give the description as well. Then the maximum number of retries, I'll pass it as 3. Then there are some other matrices like the accept auto retry, retry abandoned item, enforce unique reference, and the encrypted. I made all true. Now let's hit this request and see. And this request should be in the JSON format. Let's hit this request. So I got this response here. My queue has been created. Let's go to the queues here, go to the shared folder, and let's verify if the queue has been created or not. So as you can see here, the queue has been created. Now if I want to get the queues, how I can get it? Let me go to the get queues. So here I'm passing the same URL. There is no change. The base URL is same as is. The queue URL is same as is. I'm passing the authorization token. And here, if I want pass that X UiPath organization ID, let's see what happens. I think it will accept it. Let's try. Yes, it accept it, and it will give me all the queues across my orchestrator. That is what I believe. Let's do one thing. I will create one more queue, but in the different folder, and we will see if we are getting all the queues or not. So let's try to create one more queue over here. In this folder, this is my finance folder. Finance queue. I'll pass the same as description as well. Let's hit OK. The queue has been created. Let's go here. Not this one. Get queues. Let's hit this request again. Yes, so it is returning me all the queues irrespective of the folder ID. So let me do one thing. Let's suppose if I want to get the queues from a specific folder, then what? I'll pass this. I will pass it here and I'll hit on send. Let's see what happens. I got only the queue which exists in that particular folder, whatever I have passed in the XUI organization unit ID. If you will miss this header, you are gonna retrieve all the queues across your folder, all the queues across your orchestrator in whatever folder your external application has been assigned. Okay, so we got our request, we got the queue ID as well. Now let's see if we can delete this queue or not. So here I will pass my queue ID 86776, which I got it from here. I will save this request. Let me go here, and again here I passed the authorization, and along with that I'm passing the organization ID as well. So let me pass this organization ID because my queue exists in that folder. I'll pass it over here. Let's hit on send. I should, okay, see 204, no content to send for this request except for it. Okay, I hope the queue has been deleted. Let's go to the finance folder, refresh it. Okay, we can refresh it from the table itself. It's still no. Let's go to the finance. There is no queue at all. So that means our all the three requests are working. Our request to create the queue we have completed. Sorry, yes, and to retrieve the queue and to delete the queue. All three has been done. Now let's move and see how we can create the queue items in these queue definitions or the queue containers. All right, so if you see here on the screen, I have four request URL: add queue item, add bulk queue item, get queues, get and delete queues, queue item by ID. So if you see till here, all the base URLs are same. The only changing thing is after slash OData. So this is our request URL to get the queue item. This is our request, sorry, this is our request URL to add the queue item, the single queue item. This URL is to add the bulk queue item, and this URL is to retrieve the queue items in our orchestrated queues. And after that we are using the same queue item URL. Only changing thing is we are passing this queue item ID that we want to retrieve or want to delete it by its ID number. So if I go to the postman, let's go there and let's try to retrieve the queue items from this folder. Since we have zero items in both of the queues, I will get zero. Let's see. The response is 200 and I'm getting the value is zero. There is nothing. There is no value. Null. Now let's try to create the queue item and then we will try to retrieve it. So if I go here, there is nothing changed. Just I am changing the URL and placing it the add queue item URL over here. Rest all is same. The authorization I have to pass it. It is must. The organization unit ID where my queue exists. It is must. And I will pass the organization unit ID as this because my queue exists in that folder. I'll pass it like this. Then I'll go to the body and here I have to pass the queue item date actually. So I need to pass the name of the queue for this parameter. Let me copy this name. Let's go here, paste it over here. Then my specific content, which is actually the transaction data. So this is the invoice number, amount, customer, and then let's say I'll mark it as 1. Same for this. The body will be in the JSON format. All done. The request type will be post. Let's hit this request and see if the queue item will be created or not. So the queue item has been created and my item ID is this one. So if you see the queue item ID is this. Let's go here and try to refresh it. Let's go inside this. I have this queue item and if I want to see the details, you can see it like invoice number, amount, and the customer. Okay, so this is about how you can create a single item. But in case if you want to create multiple queue items, what you are gonna do? You have to change the URL and you have to pass the bulk add queue item URL. The authorization will be same. In the headers, you have to pass the folder where your queue exists, in which you are going to create the queue items, and in the body you have to pass the queue name as well. So this time I'm gonna pass this queue AP shared. Let me paste it. I'll say okay. I will mark it as 2, 2. Let's say 3 for this as well. 3. Now here I have to pass the commit type, which is mandatory. I'll make it as process all independently. All the queue items will be processed independently. Whatever will be fail, whatever will be passed, I'll get in the response. So let's hit on send and see what will be the response. I got 200. So success true, message null, and the fail items 0. That means all the queue items has been processed. So let's go to the orchestrator and try to verify it. I'm here. So I have two queue items has been created, one with the priority high, other with the priority normal. And if I go to here I have set the priority as high for the queue item ending with 002. For the queue item ending with 002, the priority is high. And if you see for the 003, the priority is normal. So this is how we can create multiple queues items, or you can say bulk queue item. Now let's again go back to the git queue items and see. Let's hit this request. I will get 3 count. So if you see here, I'm getting it from the shared. Along with that, oh, sorry, I have all in the shared, but from both of the queues, I am getting the response. So I have total 3 queue items, so I'm getting all the queue items. But this could not be the case. Might be you want from only one queue. So for that, uh, where is the queue definition ID? So I need to filter. I need to pass a filter. I will use this filter. Okay. And I will pass my queue definition ID here. And again, I'll hit the send. This time I get only one count because in this folder, sorry, in this queue definition, I am having only one queue item, which is my AP queue. Okay, let's go to the view transactions 86777 and 86777. Yes, so this is the AP queue, and in this queue, I am having only one queue items. That's why I'm getting the count as 1. But in case if I want to just verify, let's go to this queue. I will pass this queue definition IT and let's hit on send. This time I'm getting the count as 2 because I'm having 2 queue items exist in that queue. So this is how you can get the queue items from a specific queue, and you can create a single queue item, you can create a bulk queue item. Now let's see how you can get the queue item by its ID and delete the queue item by its ID. So let me see here. This is my queue item. Let me first save it, that I won't close it. This is not required. I'll close it. This is also not required. I'll close it. This is also, let's open this, already open. I will open this. So here I'm passing my queue item ID. I'll copy it. I'll pass it over here. I need to pass in the header the folder ID where this queue item exists. Okay. So this queue item exists in this folder. I'll pass it here. Let's hit on send. I got the response as 200. That means from this queue definition, one queue item has been deleted. Let me refresh it. It is not the queue, maybe. Uh, it's a different request. It's a get request. So I am getting the queue item based on its ID. Okay, not I'm not deleting it over here. So I get one queue item by its ID. Now let's suppose if I want to delete the same queue item. So I am doing nothing, just I am changing the request type from get to delete. Rest all will be same. I will pass it. Let's copy this in the headers. Copy this folder, paste it, and hit on send. Fine. This queue item has been deleted. Let me refresh it. Let's go inside the queue. It is still there. Mm, let's go here. The queue item is there, but might be the status will be deleted. Yes, so the status is deleted. That means this queue item has been deleted. Fine. So this is how you can delete the queue items, you can add the queue item, you can retrieve the queue items from your queues. And now let's move to the possible errors that you can get it. So here you can get the error as 401, which means you're passing the token, whatever the token you are passing, it might expire or you miss to add the prefix as a bearer. So you might get the 401 error at that point of time. Then you can also get the 403 error as well when your external application does not have the required permission for the queues operation. Then you might get the 400 error, which is the invalid request. At that point of time, you can get this error. You might be passing the wrong JSON body, which is not compatible with your orchestrator definition and all. At that point of time, you can get the 400 error. Then you might also get the 404 error. This error you will get when, let's suppose you are trying to retrieve the queue definition, but that queue definition uh, does not exist in the organization unit, which organization unit you are passing it in the headers. So at that point of time, you might get this 404 error. So with this error and all, our today's video is done. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel. With this, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.